Today's top picks from Reuters Breakingviews. Troubled coal miner Bumi Resources is considering a proposal to part ways from Bumi plc. And ding dong, the deal is dead. What's next for BAE and EADS? With me now to discuss these stories is Reuters Breakingviews Assistant Editor Robert Cole. Robert, great to see you again.
Thanks.
Let's start with Bumi. It's getting very complicated and murky, especially if the Bakries come back into the picture, right?
Well, yeah, it really is quite murky and quite difficult to sort of make head or tail of this. And it is very complicated, and I don't want to be accused of oversimplifying it, but I think the best way of looking at this is that there was a cash shell vehicle set up by Rothschild 2 years ago or so. A whole bunch of Indonesian assets were injected into that London-listed shell at a price. There have been some difficulties, shall we say, that have emerged in the year or so since that deal was done. And now what we're getting is what strikes me a quite extraordinary development, that these assets are now being backed out of this London-listed vehicle. And clearly, because the price of everything and the values of these things and the market values have changed, it looks to me at first sight as if, they've been sold in at one price and they've been bought back at another price, and the Indonesians are doing fantastically well out of this. Now, there's quite a lot of detail that still has to be soaked in, and there's quite a lot of uncertainty about this. But I think that the view here, the thing to do here for people interested in this is really to hold on quite tightly, but not do too much too quickly. To put a twist on that old sort of adage, Bumi and everybody involved in it is in a big hole, but I think you should keep digging. Actually,
it's not often you hear that
because there is quite a lot which still has to be found out. There are accusations of financial irregularities and so on, but they're far from proved. They might be a good deal less than what people fear. Now, people fear quite a lot, but it might actually turn out a bit better, and acting too precipitately at this time might actually leave people out of pocket.
We had a Bumi Resources director today on the Reuters wire saying that a split from Bumi plc is, quote, a win-win situation. Now, when you hear things like that, a win-win, you have to be a bit cautious. Surely.
Well, considering the number of losers that have suffered in this situation up to now, I think your sort of caution is well founded. Presumably, that director's talking about a win-win from here on. I think that the losing over the last 18 months is going to be something that's going to concentrate people's minds more.
OK, let's move on to BAE, EADS, BEADS, if you like. Of course, the deal collapsed. Let's start with BAE. You argue that the company must show that it can stand alone. But I suppose the big question is, how is it going to do that?
Well, it's difficult to see, actually. And, we were backers of this deal. We thought it was a good idea. And up until quite late on, actually, we thought it would go through. I think what we underestimated at Breakingviews, and in fairness to us, a lot of people in the market did as well, didn't quite see how disagreeable to the Germans it seemed. And for reasons which were kind of really quite sort of non-commercial. I think they just may have felt kind of unhappy with or uncomfortable being with a shareholder in a defence company for some sort of historical reasons apart from anything else. So given that we thought that this deal was necessary and very advisable for BAE, it's quite difficult now for us to say, the garden is rosy for BAE. I think they've got some very hard questions to answer. I think there's a very steep hill to climb. I guess what they have to do is to try and find some new defence markets, or to
not easy when everyone's cutting back
absolutely,
or
to broaden them. I suppose one could say that perhaps they have to examine some civil aerospace options themselves. But I think that they've really got some quite hefty strategic thinking to come up with. Yeah.
And finally, EADS. Can CEO Tom Enders survive this?
Yeah, I think so. I would have actually thought that greater question marks are over his opposite numbers at BAE. BAE. I think Tom Enders is probably safe for the moment.
OK, Robert.
Famous last words, perhaps.
We'll see. Thank you very much. My thanks there to Robert Cole from Reuters Breaking Views. For more financial insight, do watch our US show every day at 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.